Let's talk about safe sleep. Babies should sleep on their back, in a crib or pack and play, with nothing but baby, every sleep. On their back, never on their tummy or yours. In a crib or pack and play, not in your bed, not on your chest, not on the couch. Nothing but baby. No blankets, bumpers, pillows, or stuffed animals. In PJs or a sleep sack to keep them comfy and cozy. We know safe sleep is hard, but your baby is worth it. In the last 20 years, nearly 80,000 babies in the U.S. have died from sudden, unexpected infant death. That's more than the number of children who died from guns, opioids, child suicide, and even car accidents. You can protect your baby by making sure that every sleep is on their back, in a crib or pack and play, with nothing but baby. We know safe sleep is hard, but your baby is worth it. Many parents feel like co-sleeping is the only way their baby will sleep. But the hard truth is that letting your baby sleep in bed with you is always dangerous. In fact, sharing a bed is the largest contributing factor in sleep-related deaths. So instead of with you, choose next to you, where your baby can sleep closely and safely in a crib, pack and play, or side sleeper bassinet. We know safe sleep is hard, but your baby is worth it. The safest way for your baby to sleep is in their own bed. But that doesn't mean they have to be far away. Putting your baby in a crib or pack and play in your room is the best way to keep them close and safe. Your baby is going to cry, so will you. Your baby is not going to sleep through the night at first. Neither will you. It will feel really hard, and it is. But remember, your baby will sleep through the night eventually, and so will you. Stay in touch. Stay off the couch. Stay caught up. Stay out of bed. Stay on your feet. Stay smiling. Stay awake so your baby sleeps safely. Breastfeeding is one of the healthiest things you can do for your baby, but falling asleep while feeding is one of the most dangerous. This is how to stay awake so your baby can sleep safely. Set an alarm for safe sleep every time you breastfeed. Practicing safe sleep at 2 a.m. is hard. It's okay to ask for help. Connect with a friend, another mom, your partner, a safe sleep support group. Connect with whoever you can to stay awake so you can put your baby to sleep safely. This is someone you care about. This is their new baby. You love them, and now you love them, and they need your help. Babies should sleep on their back in a crib or pack and play with nothing but baby every sleep. But safe sleep is hard, and when they're exhausted, it's even harder. So here's where you come in. Don't wait for an invite. Just hold the baby. Just change a diaper. Just showing up could be a lifesaver.
Hey, hello, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us for another of our Cribs for Kids 25th Anniversary Safe Sleep Champion webinars. As you're coming into the webinar, as always, your mic is muted and your camera is off. My name is Devin George, and my colleagues Andrea Wilson and Kelly James are running the show behind the scene for today's webinar, which is Safe Sleep is Hard, Where to Find Support and Guidance. If you logged in at noon, you might have seen us struggle a little get started because these are live, but we're here. You saw we started the hour with a compilation of the animated videos from Charlie's Kids that talk about safe sleep. And most importantly, what we're talking about today with our guests are the challenges of safe sleep and how to meet those challenges. So before we introduce our safe sleep champions, let me take a minute for those joining for the first time. Today is the 6th, but who's counting? I am. Of our 2023 series of our free monthly webinars marking Cribs for Kids 25th anniversary. Each month this year, around the 25th of the month, depending upon where it falls in the week, we talk with safe sleep champions from around the country about the work they're doing to prevent infant deaths and injuries from unsafe sleep. Again, these are live, but they're recorded. That means if your schedule prevents you from joining us, or if you want to go back to find something you may have missed, or you'd like to share a webinar with someone, you can do that. It also means you'll get to see some gaffes and blunders that I make as I trip over my words, so that's always fun. So as you see, our 25th anniversary information is up here because you can watch each of the first 5 webinars on our website, and today's will be uploaded by about this time next week. To find those past webinars, you'll go to cribsforkids.org, click on the About menu item, and there you'll find our 25th anniversary link. And that's what you see here on the screen now. Over the past few months, we've talked with some amazing safe sleep champions. It really has been a ball. Doctors Mike Goodstein and Barbara Osfeld, nurses Lori Winkler and Jamie Hovey, product expert Michelle Berry, and medical examiner Charlie Hunter. So you can catch up on all of these and see the upcoming dates and titles for the next webinars. And that's also where you go to register for each webinar as the sign-up links are released each month. So registration for August webinar, because this is July's, will be available as we conclude today's session. So one more time, it's cribsforkids.org, about 25th anniversary. And one more thing before we get started talking, you'll see both chat and Q&A are available. If you have comments, you want to say hello, use chat for those. If you have questions for our guests, use the Q&A. We suggest that you wait till we near the end of the hour. We find that most questions are answered during our conversation, but maybe not. So before we wrap up, we'll invite you to send your questions via Q&A again. And if time permits, we'll answer them live. If not, what we'll do is we'll stay connected to the meeting after the webinar recording ends to answer them. So if you have a question and we didn't answer it, don't leave the meeting when we sign off. Just hang on and we'll do our best to answer your question or connect you to somebody who can. Okay, that's it. So let's get started. As I said, this month we are talking with 3 Safe Sleep champions to learn how they and we can support families and other caregivers and their babies to sleep safely. So let me introduce today's champions who we're going to talk with. Dr. Sam Hanke, Amanda Simmons, and Katie Bourzikas. Dr. Hanke is a pediatric cardiologist and associate professor in clinical pediatrics for the Heart Institute at Cincinnati Children's Medical Center, where he provides medical care for fragile infants and children with heart disease in acute care and outpatient environments. He currently serves as the Chief Patient Experience Officer at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Sam is also the president of Charlie's Kids Foundation, an organization he and his wife, Maura, founded after the loss of their son, Charlie, in 2010 to SIDS in an unsafe sleep environment. Charlie's Kids is committed to educating families about SIDS and safe sleep to help prevent other parents from suffering the sudden and unthinkable loss of a baby. Those of you who work in infant safe sleep know how fortunate we are to have Sam join us. Those new to safe sleep, when the webinar ends, you're going to want to head to charlieskids.org to learn about Sam, his wife, Maura, their baby boy, Charlie, and the legacy they're building in his name. Next, we welcome Amanda Simmons. I am so happy. Well, actually, I met her last week, and I was super happy then and super happy today to finally meet her. She's one of the founders of my favorite community-based Safe Sleep social media page and group. Amanda created the Safe Sleep Evidence-Based Support Group on Facebook in 2016. This interactive, real-time, amazingly well-administered page provides education, guides, support, conversation, and resources to infant caregivers for their safe sleep practices. With over 166,000 members, that is not a mistake in something I'm saying, and nearly 30 moderators around the globe, members can ask questions, share frustrations, celebrate safe sleep via this online community. And not content with her ever-growing group, Amanda works with the Aaron Matthews SIDS Research Guild, supporting their social media and outreach on research topics. And most recently, she joined the board of directors of the Safe Infant Sleep nonprofit, where she serves as secretary. And she does all of this as the mom to 3 littles. And because we're live, we may see some of them later in the hour if they buzz by her screen. And finally, we welcome Katie Bourzikas. Katie's schedule prevented her from talking with us live, but she was kind enough to squeeze us in for a conversation last week. She's our first pre-recorded guest. Katie's a pediatric nurse practitioner working for the past 15 years caring for babies and toddlers. After struggling with sleep deprivation as a new mom, Katie and her husband chose to sleep train their boys. It was life-changing in how she felt physically and made her want to share her knowledge so others could have the same positive outcome. Then in 2018, Katie became an expert advisor on a parenting app. And in doing so, she found that most of the questions were related to sleep. So to expand her skill set, she became a certified sleep coach and breastfeeding counselor. Then seeing an ever-increasing need to help families, she launched Well Rested Wee Ones in 2019, where she combines her expertise in sleep, infant feeding, and general pediatrics to support families with sleep coaching from newborn to age 4. If you follow Well Rested Wee Ones, you know that what started as a local business providing sleep consulting services to families in Kansas City has become recognized worldwide thanks to Katie's innovative use of social media to promote infant sleep, making safe infant sleep the priority. Well Rested Wee Ones offers one-to-one coaching and online classes, as well as free tools and education to support families and caregivers in their safe sleep environment. So let's get started. Sam, welcome. I don't see Sam. Is he coming? There he is. Hey, how are you, Sam?
Hello, Devin.
Hello.
Good,
Thanks
good,
so
good.
much for joining us. So as we started today's webinars, we showed that compilation of the animated videos that Charlie's Kids produced. They are great. But before we talk about the work that Charlie's Kids does, will you tell our audience who may not be familiar with your story how you and Maura came to work in Safe Sleep and SIDS?
Yeah, well, thank you for having us here, Devin, and thank you for all you do at Cribs for Kids, and good morning and good afternoon for everyone here on the call, and thank you for all that you do for Safe Sleep. And Safe Sleep chose me. It chose my wife, Maura, about 13 years ago. We lost our first Charlie. You can see him in these pictures.
Hey, Sam, I got to tell you, you're breaking up for me. Is
he was our
breaking up
first
for everybody else? Yeah. Hey, Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Devin. You can't hear me?
Yeah, you're a little jumpy. Rest assured, everybody, we do tech checks, but this is live, so this is what happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, this didn't happen. Well, Devin, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good for now. Yeah.
Button. Okay. Can I propose a little change in order?
Yeah, maybe you want me to hop into go talk to Amanda?
I'm calling in from a hotel.
Yeah.
Let me try to see if I can get a better signal. And then, do you mind if I connect? Yeah, let's talk in the.
Hey, Amanda, can we talk to you next? Keep it moving while it'll kind of keep us on track. See, live, right? And because it's Zoom, I can't use any of my favorite jokes to stall for time. So one of my favorites that maybe somebody can use when they're doing a presentation is a Steve Martin joke, which is, who here has never raised their hand before? That's a good one. Yeah, sure. You know what we're going to do while Sam connects, and it'll keep us on track. What we're going to do is we're going to talk with Katie Bourzikas, but I need to go to my stuff there. So we're going to keep it moving. So luckily, oddly, we have a pre-recorded guest, as I mentioned before, and that is Katie Bourzikas. We talked with her last week. So very much appreciate making time, talking with her. I actually found her through the evidence-based Safe Sleep support page, pointed me to Katie. So we're going to go ahead, and I never get to say this, so I'm going to say it now. But again, that recording with Katie was live. So see if you can spot the moment when the light went out in my office and we just kept going. So enjoy, and I never get to say this. So Andrea, let's roll the tape. Hi, Katie. Thanks so much for making time to talk with us today. So we know from the introduction that you are a certified sleep consultant, a certified breastfeeding counselor, and an advanced practice nurse. So you're a real triple threat to sleep deprivation and new parents. So the social media algorithms that come into my feed point me and my colleagues to lots of sleep consultants online. And that's how we found you and well-rested wee ones. As we're clicking through your information, it didn't take long for us to see that you were different, both in your promotion of safe sleep and sharing your knowledge through your posts and blogs. A couple of things that make you different from all the other sleep consultants, which is why we invited you here, is your commitment to safe sleep images in all of your safe sleep posts, and also providing education in those posts and in your blog. We know, or we've learned from talking, right, that your safe sleep practice comes from both your professional experience as a pediatric nurse practitioner and your personal experience as a new mom. So first, can you take a minute and tell us how your NP practice informs your commitment to sleep?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm honored to be able to share my education and expertise. So I've been a pediatric professional for over 15 years. I've worked as a nurse practitioner for 9 years, working with families from newborn all the way up into adolescence. And one thing that stands out is always sleep. Sleep is really the foundation of our health. And without good sleep, it's going to start to impact so many things in our lives. And so in those early stages of parenthood, many of us are exhausted and we're desperate to get more sleep or better sleep. And that's where a lot of us will turn to unsafe sleep practices in a moment of desperation at 2 a.m. And so I spend so much time prepping parents and educating parents on what to expect and how important safe sleep is, and to create those expectations before, so that you don't make a decision in the middle of the night that is not safe for your baby. And we know that when our baby doesn't sleep well, it's going to show up in so many other ways. They're not going to feed well, and a hungry baby is not going to sleep well. And not only that, but a tired baby will not always easily fall asleep. Contrary to popular belief, is that an overtired baby will actually be more restless and maybe cry more and have a harder time falling and staying asleep. So that's why those expectations created early to help parents understand that they need to understand so many things about their baby. They're learning a new language, they're becoming a full-time caregiver, and understanding all those things will make a world of difference, and it will help so much to get better sleep for both their baby and themselves in those first few years navigating parenthood.
Yeah, it is a lot. And as you said, being a nurse practitioner, that commitment to education and patient, being sure that they are learning and understanding to do that prenatally is so important. But that's your professional commitment. And how about your personal experience?
Yes, I definitely had some sleep struggles of my own, especially with my first baby. I thought as a pediatric nurse practitioner that I was not going to have any problems with sleep. Why would I? I know what to expect, right? But when you're now a mom and you're tired, you will make decisions in the middle of the night to try and get more sleep. And in 2016, when I had my first baby, I didn't know anything about the rock and play, to be honest, but it was gifted to me during a baby shower. And I really didn't have any intention of using the rock and play. I had our pack and play set up by our bed in our bedroom to room share for those first few months. But my baby didn't like to sleep flat, as many new parents tell me about, and understand that they make noise and they may cry. And so in some desperate moments, I decided to put him in the rock and play, which is an inclined sleep device that has now been recalled. But one thing I noticed every time I put him in there is that because he was so little and he doesn't have that proper neck control to support his airway, that he would slide down in the rock and play and his little chin would come to his chest. And that is a concern for airway compromise. And the professional me knew that, but the tired mom me was tired and exhausted and trying to get more sleep. And so nevertheless, we did transition him out of that. And what I learned is that it was far more difficult to get him at that point to learn how to fall asleep flat, because he'd gotten used to being on an incline. And at that point, moving forward, I vowed, I am not going to mess with this ever again. It goes out to the trash. We didn't use it with my second baby. He slept on a flat surface right from the get-go. And then shortly thereafter, it was actually recalled. And I know there's many parents out there who may still have one in their home, but I always try and educate parents that that is not a safe sleep surface, and that we always need to have our baby alone on their back and in a crib or pack and play that's a safe sleep environment.
Yeah, your personal experience mirrors so many parents, right? And the rock and play, and we had a previous webinar on products and talked about how difficult it is to get that out of people's homes. So you mentioning it here again, thank you. No rock and play, no inclined surfaces. So you talked about that new parent frustration. I don't know that there's any way, right, to prepare a family for what it's like when you bring baby home for the first time. There's nothing you can say that sets the stage for what that would be like. You don't know till you know. But your posts do a really great job of setting expectations for families and how that baby's sleep is going to be like for the first year. So what is that first year like? What can they expect?
Well, in that first year, there are so many changes happening with your baby, and your baby is just growing at lightning speed. So we really have to be on our A game as a parent to understand all of these languages and differences in our baby. But one thing, again, that education before we're a tired, exhausted parent is key, so that we can start to really navigate the challenges of having a baby at home who's tired and fussy or hungry. So learning your baby's sleep cues makes a world of difference for your baby, learning what their tired cues are and what their hungry cues are, understanding that babies need a lot of sleep and that sometimes they're not just going to fall asleep when they're tired, that we have to give them some support and assistance to help them get the sleep that their body needs. And that's something that a lot of parents are like, well, if my baby's tired, they're just going to fall asleep. Well, it doesn't always happen that way. And so that's a huge challenge that a lot of parents navigate as they transition from the newborn period into those next few months of life. Is my baby doesn't sleep like a newborn anymore, where they're constantly sleeping. All of a sudden they're awake and they're fussy and they're tired, but they won't fall asleep. So those are things that I try and educate parents on, and understand that here's a routine that will work, here's an environment that is safe, and here's some appropriate schedules that you can try and follow to help your baby get better sleep.
Yeah, some of those guides as they go through and transition in that first year, how their sleep habits change. And what are some of those milestones in that first year that you think generate the most common concerns that you hear from parents in your social media or as they reach out to you?
By far, the most common milestone that I get questions on is around the 2, 3, and 4 month mark, when their baby needs to transition out of a swaddle and their baby starts to roll. And so there's a lot of big changes happening in this age group because your baby is no longer a newborn. And so many parents are very fearful of taking their baby out of a swaddle for a variety of reasons, whether it's because their baby's been sleeping great in a swaddle and, well, if I take them out of the swaddle, we're all going to lose our sleep. And then what if my baby rolls onto their tummy in the middle of the night? Can they sleep on their tummy? And so what I do find is that more parents are swaddling for longer and longer, and that we're really not getting the baby out of the swaddle as early as the baby should be getting out of. And so that actually creates more protest and crying. And so then as their baby rolls over, maybe had we gotten them out of the swaddle a month before, it wouldn't be such a big deal because the baby would have had a lot more practice. But now the baby rolls over and they're frustrated, they're alarmed that they've rolled over. And so they just don't feel confident letting their baby stay on their tummy to sleep. And so one thing I try and educate parents on is, we need to do a ton of practice on tummy time and sideline and rolling during the day, because that's what helps to strengthen the upper back and neck muscles to support the airway. Because once your baby can roll either direction, once they do that in the crib, it's okay for them to sleep in that position. We don't have to be worried at that point. So you want to always continue to lay your baby on their back for sleep to at least put them in there. But if they roll into their side or their tummy, it is okay. And, some babies may do that once or twice and maybe take a break from it and not do it again. But some babies immediately will roll right over. And if you try and roll them onto their back every time you go in, the baby's going to roll right back over onto their tummy. So there's just sometimes no possible way that you could keep them on their back, even if you tried, unless you stayed up all night. And again, we're all tired parents to begin with in those first few months. So we just have to be working on all those milestones during the day too, so that your baby is strong enough and can do it at night.
Yeah, lots of great tummy time. Get them out of that swaddle when they start to show signs of rolling. Get them into that wearable blanket or layers. Always put them down on their back if they get there themselves. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
So there's a lot of the AAP recommendations just in that one answer, right? So a family and like you committed to safe sleep with that new baby, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you find families have in sleeping safely?
Two of the biggest challenges that I find are, number one, information that they find on social media. There are a ton of sleep consultants out there in the world sharing information that may not be evidence-based. And whether it's their own personal experience or something they've just read randomly on Google. But there's information being shared that puts a lot of fear in parents about sleep. And so whether it's promoting co-sleeping or promoting unsafe sleep practices to help their baby get more sleep, there's a lot of that information out there. They also share a lot of information that's there's absolutely no evidence on in relation to like doing sleep training with their babies. And they put fear into parents of emotional attachment and how that's going to affect their baby's development. And so there's over 50 studies that have been performed, and they all, 93% of them all show positive impacts on independent sleep. So that's one of the biggest things that I personally see every day, and have parents reach out to me every day through social media asking me, is this true? What is going on here? And the other thing is just, out of exhaustion and desperation, parents are going to make choices that may be unsafe to their sleep. If it's 2 a.m. and your baby's been up every hour and your baby is just not falling to sleep, we may revert to unsafe sleep practices, whether it's bringing them into bed with us or letting them fall asleep on us. Neither of those are recommended. And those are things that are so hard as a tired parent, and why we all as a family unit need to be on the same page of safe sleep. And if you have a partner, you need to be able to tell them that I need a break so that they can take over, because we never want to make a decision because we're just out on level E energy level.
Yeah. So it's all about prenatally preparing for that, getting the education, being set up for it, having your expectations set, and then knowing when to ask for help, right? When to ask for help, because we are all so tough on ourselves, right? The information that you offer on well-rested reruns is so inclusive in that regard, not just for parents, but for grandparents and other caregivers, how we can all support family and baby. And that's what we're here talking about today, how everybody can support infant safe sleep to keep those babies making it to their first birthday. So the more help, the better. And you seem to offer that. So tell me where I know where to find all of your information. I found you. Tell me where the people who are watching this webinar can find information on your social media, but also your website and blog.
Sure. So my website, Well Rested We Ones, has a wealth of information. I have multiple blog posts that have numerous tips for parents of all ages, whether it's newborn, the first year, or toddler. We do work with families from newborn to age 4, so we really try and touch on as many of those ages as possible with our blog posts. That also includes all of the guides that I offer to families that are downloadable, PDF versions. I have online courses for families, and then I also offer the one-on-one coaching services, which is really comprehensive ongoing support for families. And what started as a local business has now turned into a worldwide recognized brand. And it's amazing that I'm able to work with families all across the world to help them with their sleep. And a lot of families reach out to me because they just can't find the resources within their own community to get the sleep support that they need. And beyond my website, I am very active on social media. You'll find me all over the platforms. My favorite as of right now is Instagram, and it has been for a long time, but I'm also on Facebook and TikTok, and just starting to get into YouTube as well. But I try and post tips almost every day. You'll never miss me if you go on social media. I'll be dancing or talking or just showing real life scenarios with babies that I get to work with. And that's where a lot of parents are so appreciative of those real life tips and moments. And I try and be as practical and simple as possible, because a tired parent can only process so many steps and they need easy to follow guidance.
Yeah, I love your Instagram so much. There's so much great information and support on your social media and on your website. Really, truly, thank you so much, Tom. Thank you so much time. No, thank you for taking time to talk with us, and truly for being a role model, not just for families, but also for nurses who need to support infant safe sleep for all of their community. Again, thank you so much for sharing your experience to help others. And I hope everyone who's listening today, or who is watching watching it downloaded and recorded in the future, has clicked follow on one of those Instagram or Facebook or TikTok pages. Thanks so much, Katie.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So I think we're back, right? I hope you guys liked hearing what Katie had to say. Through some of our issues, I do want to let people know who were joining us live and might have an appointment at the end of the hour that we're running about 8 minutes late. Rather than rush the session, we would like to really take advantage of the time we have with our guests. So we're going to keep it running, but know that we'll end a little bit after 1 then. So if you have an appointment, maybe let them know you'll be a little bit late, because Cribs for Kids technical stuff wasn't wasn't working out. So Sam, are you back with me? I don't see Sam. He was just here. Where did we put him? Do we want to go ahead and go to Amanda then? Amanda, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hi. Sam's gone a missing. But we know he'll be back. We have faith. So I'm going to go ahead and this actually transitions nicely with Katie, who was talking so much about social media. So I'm going to just get to where we are here. Don't anybody look, close your eyes while I go through the
Practicing
slides.
safe, practicing.
There we go. Look at that. Now everybody can open their eyes. It's like nothing happened, right? Amanda, thanks so much for making time.
Thank you.
We know you are pretty busy with the Facebook group, other platforms, Aaron Matthews, your board work, your own family. Again, we might see them whiz by in the background. Anything can happen, clearly. So let's dive in. We're going to try hard to keep us a little closer to time, but I'm so excited to share your content with our audience. As of this morning, the Safe Infant Sleep Evidence-Based Support Group, and you can see it right here on your slide. So if you've got access to the internet, of course you do. You've got access to Facebook right now, head right to that page. The Safe Infant Sleep Evidence-Based Support Group has over 166,000 members, right?
Yes.
And nearly 30 moderators. I mean, that's a lot. So share with everybody how this got started.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be able to share. We actually started our group as parents and caregivers in 2016. We were just a small group at the time, but we wanted to gather in the most popular social space, which was Facebook. And we wanted to have an area where we could have accountability during those late nights when we were up feeding babies and trying to get them to sleep. Really, one of the inspirations was a friend who was a mother of 6, and she had just had her baby, and she had bed shared with the first 5, but she wanted to break the cycle and she wanted accountability. So we created a group that would provide and facilitate that accountability, and also to help disseminate some of the problematic information out there. As the previous speaker mentioned, there's a lot of misinformation, and the information that is evidence-based can be hard to find for caregivers, particularly when you're sleep deprived and trying to worry about feeding and all the other questions. And we saw a real need for social media to facilitate not only support, but information that was actually evidence-based. So that's why we founded the group, in order to just educate caregivers and provide a platform for safe sleeping.
Yeah, it's incredible. And kudos to that mama who, 5-time mama bed sharing, saying, now I know a little bit more and I want to do better, and for making that step forward. That's exactly what we want to see. So, but how about the growth of that page? I mean, it's crazy. Were there any particular landmarks or high periods of growth that you could point to?
Oh, yes. And that's the wonderful part about social media, is that it continues to grow organically as people have conversations in group and other spaces. Our link gets shared and people get added to the group. One of the best milestones that we had was actually in 2020 when we became a nonprofit. Our mission was really to help partner with organizations such as Cribs for Kids and other evidence-based organizations that basically would facilitate resources and education. And so being a nonprofit really helps us with that mission so that we can further our efforts and our labor beyond just Facebook group and webpage and social. Even though it did start out that way, we definitely wanted to have a nonprofit foundation so that we could really continue our work and our mission and work with other organizations who do the same.
Yeah, it's just, I just love it. And everything that you do, you started out, with Facebook, is only possible because of your moderators. So how much time do you think you and your moderators invest on a regular basis to manage all of this content?
it's a lot of work and it's labor of love. And some moderators spend hours a day. It's a tough unpaid gig to run social media, and there's a lot of moderation that gets involved, and that's not including the websites or the nonprofit arms. So some moderators really spend, you know, 3 to sometimes, if on a good day, maybe 8 hours. It can be a full-time job.
Well, thank you to them. And how do they manage all that interaction? I mean, if you're out on their page, you see there are so many questions and so many comments. And so how do they manage that?
Well, we thankfully have a really wonderful workflow set up that basically we use a lot of the features available to us on Facebook. We have guides, we have albums, and because so many questions are so common, we actually can save time and resources by approving similar questions and tagging the parents so that they feel seen and answered, but it's not a separate discussion of the same thing over and over again that gets engagement. And it's really a unique system that works really well. And then when someone has a question that's new or particularly tricky, or just something that we want to actually have an open thread on, we will post that and have a moderator moderate it and have the community join in too. And so it's a really wonderful system that was set up that kind of has come out of the growing pains of social media at times, and starting, you know, from the very beginning, not really knowing how it was going to work. And it's really ended up being a great workflow.
It's incredible. I think of it as like, you know, when you see, right, the analogy, when you see a duck just swimming smoothly on the water, that's what I see as I scroll on your page. But really, that duck is paddling like mad under there. And so that's like your moderators clicking and managing the page like the duck's paddling feet, and doing that all for moms and families and babies. It's great. So the guides that you just mentioned, we talked about those when Michelle Berry, one of your team members, joined us as a product champion. So you can see some of those guides up here now. I just love them. It's such a great place to point people for easy information and resources. But beyond the Facebook group and the guides, your message and support has moved into other platforms that you said, right? So where else can people find your education and support?
Well, we have always wanted to meet parents and caregivers exactly where they're at. And so that was originally Facebook, but as social media has really expanded, we have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, and we have a website where people can go the old-fashioned way. Email is now old-fashioned, but anywhere that there is an online presence, we try to meet the parents and caregivers where they're at, so that we can get our information out there and be of assistance to them where they're most comfortable communicating. And we also have pamphlets and things for doctors' offices. So we're really trying to have our foot of safe sleep in every channel that a parent or caregiver might be, so that we can meet them where we're at and make it a little bit easier on them to access this information and support.
Yeah, and we have a slide up so that people can see your, you know, your Instagram and TikTok and your YouTube pages and your website, and be able to go find them. And when you say meet them where they're at, it also means meet them when they're at, right?
Yes.
Everything that you have on that Facebook is live and interactive, and just so helpful, and a great place to go when we hear Sam, we hope, talk about staying awake and alert and engaged when, you know, when you're exhausted, and you provide not only that tool, but also the education to support that. So I want to thank you so much. We didn't see any of your kids going by, right? So
they've got plenty of snacks, so fingers crossed.
And it's early where Amanda is. She's on Pacific time, so her kids are just getting up and ready to start the day. So you've done a great job keeping them at bay. It's always fun to see kiddos, though. But thank you truly for the hours and effort that you and your team keep putting into safe infant safe sleep, and the resources that you keep building and offering for that real-time support. So everybody who's watching live or in the future, please click a like or a follow for that Safe Infant Sleep evidence-based support group. I hope you and your team are as proud as we are just to have you on here for the work that you all have done. So
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
We are
much.
so happy to be here. And thank you for all the work that you've done and everyone that's here today. It really does take a community and a village, and we've seen that on social media. So it's really empowering.
Yeah, it does take a lot of people. So let's keep it going. And I want to thank you too, because it was your page that pointed me towards Katie and Well Rested Wee Ones, who we heard from earlier. So that is that kind of, cumulative effect of that solid information out there. So thank you. And you're going to hang out for questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We're going to go try and find Sam. Hang on.
Sounds great. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Yay. He's back.
This sets the record for the worst technology challenge. So I apologize. How am I
What?
sounding?
Never. It's been so much worse. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
I just like playing.
Hang on, we're
plan
gonna
out.
get back to your slides. Oh, there we go.
Devin, am I coming through clear now? Is this better? Because
It
this
is
is better.
definitely better because
Okay.
I can see your face, your smiling face. I should mention that some of our tech issues with Sam are because he is taking time out of a conference that he's at in Washington, D.C., the PrevCon conference, to talk with us. So it's that hotel room website access. So
Yes.
it's understandable, and really nothing is going to matter if everybody in the hotel gets up. Maybe some people are trying to come on this webinar.
Yeah, that's
where
right.
you
That's
are.
right.
So let's try again. We see
Wonderful.
your gorgeous Charlie up there. So if you don't mind taking a little time to tell our audience who aren't familiar with the work that you do, how you and Maura came to work in Safe Sleep and SIDS.
Yeah, absolutely. And jump in if I start jumping, if the Wi-Fi starts jumping again. So, as I was saying earlier, I'm in the safe sleep work because of this cute boy here. This is Charlie. He was my firstborn son that we lost to an unsafe sleep death when he was just 3 weeks old. And that was back in 2010. And boy, have we learned a whole lot since then about what's the evidence say that and the best way to put our babies to sleep safely. And my wife Maura and I kind of refused to believe that Charlie's story on Earth for 3 weeks was going to be his story. And so we wanted a way to both remember Charlie, but most importantly, be able to do whatever small thing we could to help promote the safe sleep practices so other families didn't have to experience the same tragedy that we have. And so that's the mission of Charlie's Kids Foundation. It was founded in his memory, and we advocate for safe sleep to prevent infant death. So much of that advocacy is around how do we promote the AAP safe sleep practices. But what I love about this hour here today is what we've learned along this journey is really our families, so much good information, education has gotten out there through the years, and our families are asking us for help about how to actually do it. It's hard, and so how to do it, and the practical tips that have come from this hour, I think, have been fantastic, and hopefully you can take some of these to the work that you guys do as well. So this boy, I think about him every day, and he's made me a better person, and as a dad, I couldn't be prouder than my son here, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, your family's commitment to honor Charlie has led to such meaningful, accessible, safe sleep education. I like that you said we want to do something small, whereas now you've really created something so spectacular, all in his honor. So I want to be sure people know about the. I'm going to show up here. You can see the webpage for Charlie's Kids, and the cornerstone that you started with is your board book, right? Sleep Baby Safe and Snug. You see this guy here. We have it in our Cribs for Kids Safe Sleep Survival Kit. I was just at the AWAN conference last month for our hospital certification program, and we had the book out on our table, kind of like that back here. And the number of nurses who, when they saw that book on our table, made a beeline to say, oh, we give this to all of our moms. And I couldn't even count. It was just, look, I'm moving the mouse. I'm so excited going through the thing to tell about the nurses coming over. But it's just such a practical and unique way to talk about safe sleep. So tell us a little about the book and the work that you guys do to distribute it.
Yeah, so my wife is a kindergarten teacher, and she really understood the power of board books for education. We initially were putting the do's and don'ts of safe sleep on any board book that we could find, and then really through the prompting of Judy and Cribs for Kids, worked on developing this book, Sleep Baby Safe and Snug, which, if you're not familiar, shares the story of safe sleep in a way that is easily to read, understandable, approachable. And on the back is the do's and don'ts of safe sleep. And so our organization, Charlie's Kids Foundation, it spends a lot of time getting this book into as many hands as possible. We're a small nonprofit organization, and actually my dad is the one that ships a lot of these around. Hopefully you've seen these and have used these. We ship them in bulk. We want this to be just an easy way to approach families and have the conversation about safe sleep. It gives them a gift that they can have, and it really opens it up to say, talk to me about how you plan on putting your baby to sleep, or how have you put your baby to sleep? What types of challenges have you had? Let me give you this book and let me tell you a story, whether it's Charlie's stories or others. It's a great way to introduce the conversation in a non-judgmental way and be able to bring up some of those barriers that have been associated with either knowledge or with the practice of safe sleep. So we're really proud. Just this summer, we're cresting over 5 million books in distribution, which is really exciting milestone for us. And it's pretty cool to be able to see through the work of so many of you on the call, this information and education being put directly into the hands of family members.
Yeah, it is it's fabulous. So, and now you guys have expanded your safe sleep education beyond the book with the whole library of safe sleep videos. And we showed them earlier, the compilation of all 9 of them that are available. And you can see the screen grab here of all of those videos. So tell us how, well, we'll talk a little bit more about it later, but how did those come to be, the messages that were chosen, the design, and Cribs for Kids isn't the only group asking you to share this information. As I said, Sam is coming to us from a hotel room in DC, where he's speaking later this afternoon at the Safe Kids Worldwide Childhood Injury Prevention Convention. So everybody wants to hear about these videos, as they should, because they're so great. So tell us a little bit about the messages and how they came to be.
Yeah, we're really excited about these videos. It's Amanda kind of said it, websites are kind of out of date, but there's some timelessness to books, but there's also, that's not where our families are all the time. Our parents, our kids, they're on their phone, they're engaging with social media, they get their information and they get their education from their phones. And so we wanted to create videos that connected with parents and potential parents where they were. And so we also really had a big priority to say, how can we develop these videos that specifically message us to those families that have the highest disparities in sleep-related infant death? And so we partner with a great organization in Cincinnati called Cradle Cincinnati, which is committed to infant mortality reduction. They have a group of Black women who's incredible. It's called Queen's Village. And we brought them in and said, help us develop a video series that helps to address the common topics and questions that you hear in your community. How can we message best to those that you know best? We pay them for their time, which is really important. And they were incredible partners along the journey, both in the themes and the topics of these videos, but all the way from the graphical design and the voiceover artist and all that was chosen was with their guidance and direction. And we were really proud with these videos that are rooted in messages of empathy, messages of hope, but also bringing some of the real issues at hand and some of the conflicts about being exhausted and staying awake. But also importantly, doing it in a way that was very short and packaged to the way that our parents are used to consuming information now. So they're 15 seconds and 30 seconds long at the longest. There's 3 of them are 30 seconds. The other ones are 15 seconds. They're meant for social media sharing and many other ways to get them into in front of new parents. You may have seen as well, it's on the QR code as well in the book. So it comes in a package there as well. So we're excited about these videos, and they seem to really resonate with parents as well.
Yeah, they're just so, as you said, they're truthful, right? Because again, as I said with Katie, it's difficult to explain to first-time parents how challenging those first several months are. But your videos do that in a meaningful and, as you say, empathetic way, and that they're meant to be shared. So you can see on the screen here, Instagram and again, the QR code. It's brilliant. You guys put the QR code on the book. So I've got access to that as I'm getting the book, as I'm leaving the hospital in many cases. So how can safe sleep advocates access the videos, and what are some of the ways that they've been used?
Yeah, so they're as you can see on this page, they're available on a lot of different channels, and you can go to our website to find them, but those are embedded on our website, but you can go to our YouTube page and see them on there. Our social media channels, Facebook and Instagram, they're all present on those pages. And those can be shared as well. But we also know that sometimes it takes a trusted voice to be able to really resonate. And so we offer co-branding of these videos. You might saw those on the intro as well, Cribs for Kids co-brand. And so if you work at an organization that you would like your brand and your logo on those, we can, for a small fee, we're able to do that and provide that to you. So you can integrate it into a variety of different ways that you provide education. We've learned this conference has been pretty exciting. Some people, partners across Indiana and Ohio, are doing some great work about putting them in bus ads or putting them on floors in the grocery or posters and health centers. One of them has a sign that says, "Do you have 30 seconds to save a baby's life?" And the QR code's there. So great ways to kind of connect them to the content. Just like our book, these videos, this content's there for you to use and for you to make it part of your message. However we can work with you guys to do so, just please let us know.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. You have 30 seconds to save a baby's life. And the people who came on at the top of the hour, who maybe saw the compilation, those were the co-branded videos. We took advantage of that opportunity. So we hope others will too. And what we know you're sharing at the conference later today is that these videos are now available in Spanish. So we're going to go ahead, they're very fast, right? So we can take the time. So we're going to play the English version and the Spanish version that is now available. Maybe.
Practicing safe sleep at 2 a.m. is hard. It's okay to ask for help. Connect with a friend, another mom, your partner, a safe sleep support group. Connect with whoever you can to stay awake so you can put your baby to sleep safely.
Practicar el sueño seguro a las 2 de la mañana es difícil y está bien pedir ayuda. Mantente en contacto con tus amigos, otras mamás y tu pareja. Conéctate con un grupo de apoyo para sueño seguro o con quien puedas para permanecer despierta, para que puedas poner a tu bebé a dormir de forma segura.
A great addition to the library.
Practicing safe sleep at 2 a.m. is hard.
See, there we go. So if people want to access those videos, they can go to your website. If they want to co-brand them so that they can use them in their community and promote Charlie's Kids and these great, if you have 30 seconds, 15 seconds, that's so great. That information is here. So thank you so much. If it hasn't come across yet, we love the videos here at Cribs, accessible, digestible, honest information. Thank you for creating such innovative content, first with the Sleep Baby Safe and Snug, and now this video library. And we're so sorry that Charlie brought you here, but so grateful for the work that you continue to do every darn day. We hope that you will hang on, right, and ask some. We're going to stay on and see if we have any questions. And now I'm going to close it out. I'm doing this because I'm a little bit out of order. So we're actually pretty good on time. So if you postpone that meeting, you can probably make it now, right? Because I can talk quickly at the end to wrap it up. So let me get to that information that I need to share with you now, because if you think I've memorized this stuff and that's how I'm doing it, you'd be incorrect. So I need to get to where we go to close it. Okay, so here we go. We are so happy to have had 3 Safe Sleep champions join us for just one webinar and sharing that important information about how to support families. You can see the impact that their infant safe sleep commitment is having across the country. So it's partners and advocates like Charlie's Kids and evidence-based safe sleep and well-rested wee ones that takes this message across the country and most importantly into the homes of families who need the support. So thank you so much to Sam, Amanda, and Katie. If you have any questions, now is the time to put them in the Q&A. We will answer them before we close the webinar. And hang on, I'm in the wrong place now. So we'll answer them before we close the webinars. If you joined us earlier this year, you may remember that we end each session with 3 items: a call to action, announcing next month's webinar, and the opening registration. And then we play our new lullaby, Just Baby. It's kind of schoolhouse rock for safe sleep. So first, the action item. Where is my action item? Okay, here it is. In earlier webinars, we asked people to share our lullaby become a Safe Sleep ambassador, sign up for product recall notices or report the sale of unsafe sleep products, or bring the Breath of Life stroll to their community and mark their calendar for our 2024 Safe Sleep Conference. Those are all the action items we have so far. So please keep doing all of that. Share the lullaby in education. Stay up to date on infant product safety. Check out the Breath of Life stroll toolkit, which is up now on our website, and look for conference announcements. Our abstract, you can submit an abstract now if you like. So this month's action item is another simple one. Share what you've heard about today, whether it's colleagues, parents caring for infants, or those supporting people caring for infants. Be sure they know about the resources we talked about today. Charlie's Kids videos, their agency's book and mission, the real-time interactive community that can be found on Facebook's Safe Infant Sleep Evidence-Based Support Group and their other social media platforms, and lean into experts like Katie of Well-Rested Wee Ones who understand the life and death importance of safe infant sleep. Follow their guidance, take advantage of their experience to support your rest, baby's rest, and the safe infant sleep. So that's one action item. 2 is August webinar. As we wrap up today's session, our registration is open for next month's webinar scheduled for Friday, August 25th at noon Eastern. We're going to talk about Infant Safe Sleep Awareness Month that comes in October. The topic is Make a Plan, Join in Safe Sleep Month. And we're going to welcome a team of Safe Sleep champions. First is Lorena Kaplan of the NICHD, who will talk about October's Infant Safe Sleep Awareness Month and how to participate. And then in support of that, we're going to hear from champions who worked on last year's Safe Sleep Awareness activities. That includes Roberta Hawthorne, sharing how she used social media and Safe Sleep Sammy and Sasha to promote safe sleep. And then we'll have Sarah Drum and Jennifer Gingersfeld. They are the Safe Sleep champions from Boston Children's Hospital, one of our Safe Sleep certified hospitals. And they're going to talk about how their hospital marked safe sleep last year and what they have on deck this year. So we hope you'll join us on August 25th at noon. Okay, the action item, the next webinar, and now our lullaby. So we close each session, each webinar with our Safe Sleep lullaby, like the Safe Sleep Ambassador, our online education module, and our video library content. The lullaby is free, just like Charlie's Kids videos and the information on evidence-based safe sleep and Katie's guidance on her social media channels. But the lullaby is also available at no cost. The song, the video, the music bed, and the English and Spanish versions. It's all there, free for downloading and sharing. As the lullaby plays, we'll stay on for any Q&As we missed, and we really appreciate your patience as we muddled through some technical issues. It's really more amazing when things do work, when you think about it. You can always reach us at info@cribsforkids.org. Once again, thank you to Dr. Hanke, Amanda, Katie, and those who joined us live and who are watching later. We appreciate your time and commitment with our shared mission. Hang on if you put a question in the Q&A, and thanks so much.
Pillow No pillows, blankets, no toys, just baby.